Okay, so I've put the recording on. So from now on, it will be recorded. So guys, as I said in my reminder this evening, we've really come to the end of the semester, and this is our last collab. I have already recorded for you guys 3 separate exam papers that I've posted up on your YouTube for you. And there's also that set of 6 podcasts from, oh, I forget, is it Liza? From Liza, that I've posted on YouTube. So I didn't want to start plowing through another exam paper tonight. So I thought I'm just going to leave it open mic. Anyone who's got a question, they can ask me this evening and I'll answer. And then otherwise, I've just got a few pointers for the exams that I don't want you guys to forget. And we'll go over those quickly, and then that's it. Then we'll be done for this evening. Okay, so that's really all I've got planned for this evening's last session. Yeah, hi Evan. Go ahead. What have you got for me?
Hi Heather. So I'm working with the past papers and our assignment questions. Okay, I got a little bit stuck now. I went back to assignment 1, and I do have my my script printed out. I couldn't figure out how to get the 150. Would you be able to help me there? I just completely forgot because I didn't add the calculation in the assignment. I just put it down. I remember Oxford did it in one of his lectures, but I just wanted to find out if you'll be able to help me. It's in assignment 1, question 2.
Question 2. Okay, let me just see if I can find that quickly. I also have assignment 1. Also remember on YouTube there'll be a recording where I went through the whole assignment memo for you guys afterwards. So if you're stuck with any of the other questions, just go through that. Did you remember about that?
So actually, I was looking on the list that you gave us on YouTube. The assignment 1 wasn't appearing on the watch list. It was only assignment 2. So that's why I wanted to find out from you if there wasn't a recording for assignment 1.
Yeah, I'm sure I did one. I'll go and check for you now. I've got my YouTube channel tab open.
No
I'll have a look in a second. Let me just check here quickly. Question 2. And you said what amount you wanted?
So it was the sales. So we had to calculate the total sales. So it was 75,000, and then we times it by 150.
Yeah,
Hard to get the 150.
And that was in the first. Okay, so this is. I'll quickly type the. So we've got 75. Let me just find the question. Okay, so each ball has got a variable cost of 60 Rand and a contribution ratio of 60%.
Okay.
So what does that mean? Contribution ratio. If we say a contribution ratio, that means what are our variables? In other words, if we're saying if I'm working out a contribution ratio, what are my 3 variables there? A ratio of what? So what am I taking a ratio of to say 40% of what is the contribution? Are you following me? We say
40% of the variable cost.
No, the variable cost is 60 Rand.
Okay.
Sorry, they said, yeah, 40% is the variable. So the contribution ratio is 60%.
Okay.
So 60% of contribution is 60% of what?
That's why that's why I asked, because I was lost because I actually forgot how this was, because it's so long ago.
Okay, so contribution ratio means that it's 60% of the selling price is the contribution. So if 60% of the selling price is the contribution, that means that 40% of the selling price is then the variable cost. I also keep telling you guys as well, don't forget, if you've still got your second year financial management books, you must go back, because all of these ratios are in second year and we use them all in third year, and the students do tend to forget them. So just go and brush up as part of your exam revision. Go through those chapters, learning unit 2 particularly, with all of those formulas and ratios. And then what is that chapter called in second year? cost, volume, profit, that chapter, go through all of those calculations as well.
Okay.
So
I just wanted to find out
75.
I just wanted to find out how you get the 150. That was what I wanted to find out, because
Yeah.
I know everything
I'm
else, but I couldn't get to see how I got the 150. It was so long ago. Sorry about that, Heather.
No, that's okay. I'm putting it on the screen for you now. Just 250. Okay, so that's the calculation. 60 over 40 times 100, that's what gives you 150. Okay, so 60 Rand is the variable cost. And we know that the variable cost is 40% because they told us that the contribution is 60%. So we take the 60 Rand, which we know is 40%, we divide it by 40, because if you take 60 divided by 40, that will give you the value of 1%. Yeah, 60 Rand divided by 40 means that 1% is 60 divided by 40. 1% would be 1.5. And then we multiply that by 100 to get the full selling price. That gives us 150.
Is there a
Does that make
recording? Is there a record? Thank you so much for the answer. But is there a recording for assignment 1, just in case, like during the rest of the week, we do want to go back and then
Let me just quickly go
check?
and
Yeah,
have a look on the channel now and see.
no problem.
Did you go through the announcements?
I went through so you go onto modules, more modules, and then and I see a YouTube link was there, and then it just plays automatically.
Yeah. Okay. The easiest way, if you want to, that's
More
quite difficult because
resources,
you
and then
actually
you go
want
to
to, you want to go to you want to go to the channel where you can view the full
mm,
playlist.
yeah.
And then also the easiest way to find something is if you go to your announcements and then
Okay.
scroll down to the announcements where you'll see the date that we did the first. Your first assignment was on the 1st of September.
Okay.
And then we had on the 6th of September, I did the collab with the A1 feedback. So that would have been posted on the 7th or the 8th of September. So we definitely did it. So let me just see if I can find it here. What did I say it was? 6th of September.
Okay, yeah, I think it is, yeah. I think I did find it.
So it will be there.
Okay. And there's also one
Did you?
more thing I just want to find out. So the other day I was telling you that during another lecture, this is my last module. I just want to find out, when we do write on Monday, if you do get my script, will you be able to mark it first and send it for moderation, Heather, or do you have to mark in like batches or?
No, yeah, unfortunately it doesn't work like that. We have to mark the whole lot, and
Yeah.
only when we've finished all the marking, then we send it through to the results office
Okay.
at the national office, at the national center. And then they will then, what they do is they choose, I'm not sure how many, it's usually 6 scripts. They then they choose 6 random scripts, and they send those for moderation.
Okay.
Then that goes to the moderator, and they've then got a certain number of days to mark all of the scripts that they receive from all the different campuses, and then they send the moderated script results back to the results center. So you have to wait for that whole process to finish. They don't moderate each student's individual script. It's kind of like a randomized exercise, but all of the campuses throughout the whole of VC all get moderated together. And only if they're happy with the whole lot do they then say, okay, you can go ahead and release the results.
Do you know what
So
the
I'm
time
afraid
frame for?
you just have to be patient.
No problem. Sorry, that's why I was just stressing, because my HR officer, she's actually requiring, like, she needs me to have like a letter of graduation now, so for me to continue working in this company in January. So I was like trying to rush the process. I was trying to find the student hub and all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you put a request on the student hub?
So they said I can only request it after I write. So hopefully.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
gets escalated
So
faster.
I would definitely do that, and then because you know, the lecturers have got no control over that because we
Mm,
are out of the loop of that to keep us neutral from that whole process.
mm.
So let me just work out roughly the number of days. So you're writing on Monday. So the marking period is 10 days after the exam. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So by Monday the 27th, they
Okay,
should receive all of the results from all of the campuses.
okay,
Then they will have the process where they choose the 6 scripts from each campus and it goes to the moderator. So the moderator will, at the earliest, get the scripts, I would imagine, around about the Wednesday, the 29th, at the
okay.
earliest. And then they've got, I think it's also somewhere between 7 and 10 days to then mark them before they get them back. So let's say
So
that would
that'll
then be
be
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Round about the 13th or 14th of December, at the earliest, that the moderation process would be completed.
okay. That's not a problem then. And then we should get our results by the 13th or the 14th.
No, that's when the moderation process is completed, and then only
Okay.
after that
Mm,
they'll release the results.
okay. No problem. Thanks
So
so
because
much,
you know
Heather.
they've got to follow that whole admin process.
Mm, mm.
So
Hopefully they release
and
it before they before varsity closes. So I think they close on the 21st from what they told me last time. So hopefully they
you
release it
yeah,
before the 21st.
you might very well be lucky with that because you guys are writing the very first day of the exams.
Hmm.
So that's what's working in your favor, is that you're basically writing this paper on the very first day. So your
Hmm.
results should be released first of all of the papers, because my last module, the students only write on the 29th of November. So that means their results will definitely only get released in January.
Sheesh. I can imagine the stress
So
they're gonna the stress
yeah,
levels of those students.
yeah, but you know, yeah, that's just the process. They can't because you know that you're talking about hundreds of papers, you know, hundreds of scripts. It's not, you know, the groups aren't small, so and they've got to make sure that everything is 100% correct before they release the results to the students. But what I would definitely do is, if you do need them to give you something early, or you want to request that, then definitely request that on a ticket, and then somebody at head office can then maybe keep an eye for you and let you know at the earliest.
Do you know what the ticket would be? What ticket would we log it under?
To be honest, I'm not. I don't know what your options are
I think it'll
on when
be
you mean when you.
so on VCSS it says academic internal credit, academic report transcript, add drop modules, assessment queries. Will it be assessment queries or would it be
No, maybe
graduation?
transcript,
Maybe
because that's
transcript.
basically, yeah, because maybe that's basically what you're asking for is your results, like a transcript of your results.
Oh, I actually have a ticket for results query. So maybe I'm thinking it should be under results query as well.
Yeah, but
Mm,
I don't think it matters too much. Don't
mm.
overthink which one.
Okay,
It will definitely, yeah, choose any one of those that look like they might be correct, and
okay.
it will definitely, yeah, it will go. Um, Norman, you could if you wanted to, but as I say, there is definitely the walkthrough on YouTube. We did find it. So assignment 1 and assignment 2 is on YouTube. So you can go through that. But yeah, I don't mind if you want to send him yours. It's not a problem. That will be just like between the two of you. Yeah, shame, Evan. I sympathize with you. I know what it's like. But I mean, you know, also your HR must understand they've all got degrees and stuff as well. They know how the tertiary education system works, that they can't give you a result if you haven't even written the paper yet. So, you know, they've got to also be reasonable. So, and I'm sure it won't be a problem. You know, they won't have the results center won't have a problem letting you know as soon as the result is available. And unfortunately, I won't be able to give it to you. We're not obviously not allowed to do that. It has to, we've got to send everything back through to the results center, and only they are allowed to release results from there. My main responsibility is to make sure that I have finished marking all of the papers in the 10 days that we're given to complete the marking. We've got a deadline and we have to meet that marking deadline, and then after that it's over to them. Okay, so good luck. I'm sure you'll do well, and I'm sure everything will be fine. And our result centers is very good. They're very jacked up if we've got queries, so I'm sure they'll help you guys as well without any problem. Anything else that you need help with that you've come across? Are you guys managing to do some revision? Have you been doing revision? Working through past papers and questions? Honestly, at this stage, the revision that you should be doing is just working through questions and just doing questions, as many different questions as you can from different learning units. Just doing questions over and over, and specifically doing them until you're comfortable doing them without looking at a solution. In other words, you've got to test yourself exactly according to exam conditions. So in the exam, you're going to be sitting there for 3 hours with a question paper and blank paper. So that's how you must practice, with blank paper and questions, and then just.
So I've been, so I saw you posted right up to the 2015 past like memo. So I've just been going past like 2015 to 2022, assignment 1, assignment 2, and certain textbook questions because we never know what's going to come out. This finance papers are normally like so random. They normally test different things every year.
They do, because there's so much that they can test, and they've only got 180 marks. So they,
It's you'd rather know everything than knowing less.
No, exactly. You need to know everything. So, and also if you've made sure that you've covered all of the learning units, and that at the end of each learning unit, they've got that section called revision questions.
Yeah, those really do help. It's
those
very
are
similar
actually,
to certain papers. Like we don't have a 2016 memo, but when I was doing the 2016 paper, I did look at the revision memo in the back of the textbook, and it was very similar answers. So you can pick up how to like answer the question.
Yes, they often use those revision questions in exams, because in the actual learning unit itself, they tend to introduce you to a theoretical concept, then give you an example, and then the example is followed by a question that is focused on that specific aspect of the learning unit. And then next theoretical section followed by another example, followed by a question focused just on that next concept. And at the end of the chapter, those revision questions are then usually comprehensive questions that will cover the whole learning unit. And then also you guys have, at your question bank at the back of the textbook, that's also try and go through those questions, because they also often use those question bank questions in the exam papers as well. Obviously, they change them up a little bit, and they've got different stories and what have you. But it's as long as you understand the basic principles and you understand the formulas and you understand, the basic format that your question and answer must follow, then you will be fine. So this
Also,
is part. I actually think that your second semester, this textbook is much easier than first semester. I think your Finance 3A is more difficult than 3B, because it introduces a lot of things that you didn't learn in second year.
Yeah.
And then I think 3B is then more conceptual. A lot of it is again repetition, like your working capital. You did that in second year, so a lot of that is repetition. A lot of learning unit 6 is repetition of what you did in second year. It's really learning unit 1, that cost of capital, that's new.
Heather, I just wanted to find out for the theory questions, is there any particular like learning units that we should focus on for like to learn theory, or is it like must we learn every learning unit on the theory? Because I know the theory is like about 10% of the paper.
Yeah. You definitely can't ignore your theory. And again, there's no telling which learning unit they're going to ask you the theory from. It could be on any
In
one
the
of them.
in the back in the module outline, can we go over those like the theory type of questions they have in like a block? Is it can we go through over that as like our theory like questions?
Let me just show you where to find.
So in the
theory.
module outline, right at the end, it shows us like certain theory, and then they ask us to answer it to fill in the answers. Should we learn that as our theory?
In the module outline? That
I
doesn't
remember seeing
sound
it in the module
familiar.
outline.
Are you sure it's for finance?
I'm sure I saw it in the module outline because it has like certain words, and then you fill in the blanks. It's right at the end.
You know what that is? No, that's just like a glossary of terms.
Okay.
Yeah, so so that's just like definitions of all the terms that you
Okay.
need to know for the module. So that's definitely helpful, because if you don't understand the terms and then the terminology is in a question and you haven't understood it. So yeah, just read through that to make sure that you understand the terminology. And yes, that could possibly come in a theory question.
Okay.
But if you have a look on the screen here now, this is, say, Learning Unit 1. And then this is your module outline that I've got on the screen now. So for each module, in the module outline, this page over here, okay, where it says Learning Objectives, Learning Unit 1 theme breakdown, and then Learning Objectives. Each one of these bullet points is a possible question that they will ask you in the exams, because this is what we call the learning objectives or the learning outcomes. So they will ask you nothing else excepting these learning objectives. So these learning objectives could be a calculation or it could be a theory question. So if you want to know what theory questions to learn, then this is exactly what you want to do. Like this one here, you'll look for ones that say explain, because then you know that's a theory question.
Okay. Yeah.
The second one, determine the cost, that's a calculation. Calculate the cost, that's a calculation. Calculate the weighted average, those are all calculations. So your only theory question that you need to know from Learning Unit 1 is this one here. Explain the key assumptions that underlie the cost of capital. So they basically, in the module outline, tell you what theory questions they're going to ask you. So here, Learning Unit 2, again, here we've got explain the operating financial total leverage relationships. Describe, that's a theory question. Discuss, that's a theory question. Review, this is a theory question. And then this one that says calculate, this is where it incorporates all the calculations from Learning Unit 2. So even this wording in these learning objectives, you'll recognize in the questions in the exams.
Okay.
Thanks so I know
so much,
all the way
Heather.
through the semester, I'm always speaking to you. I'm always telling you guys, don't forget your learning objectives. Don't forget your learning objectives. And this is what I mean, because that is what they'll ask you. Nothing else. They can't ask you to do any other calculation, any other theory question if it's not listed as one of these learning objectives. Okay, so Norman, you say also you've only got one more learning unit to do, and then you'll start going through exam papers. Yeah, and that's fine. I know you've been working hard on questions throughout the semester, so you should be fine. And then the paper, yeah, which you'll get on Monday. So yeah, and I'm sure you won't have any problems with the paper. Remember always that if the question looks different to something that you've seen before, don't let that throw you. Sometimes the wording is just different, or they've asked you to work out a particular variable that maybe they gave you in a previous question. But remember, as I've said before, they'll always give you all the information that you need. So, but in order to use the information they've given you, you need to understand, like that question that Evan asked now about assignment 1, where he couldn't work out how to work out the selling price because he couldn't remember the contribution margin, etc. So if you've forgotten those things, then even with the information that they've given you, you won't be able to work out what you need. You definitely are. Yes, exactly. Keywords and phrases, and always go and read the required. Just go straight down before you read the question, go straight to the required and read the required first, so that you know, okay, this is what I have to put down on the paper. And then you go back and read all the blurb that they've given you in the question. Because then when you're reading it, you're reading it with a purpose, you know what you're looking for. And also, as soon as you read the required, you should then say, okay, so my answer has to look like this. You'll know what format your answer needs. In other words, do I need a WACC table, or is this a lease or buy type question? Do I have to work out whether they can factor or whether they should implement a settlement discount? You know, those formats, you must know what the format of those answers looks like, so that as soon as you see the question, your brain immediately knows this is what my answer must look like, and then you know what the construction of it needs to be. And then you can scratch around in the data that they've given you to see, okay, what have they given me and what do I need to work out? And definitely go to your second year textbook and revise those cost, volume, profit formulas and all of your, which I think is in 2B, and I think it's in 2A, Learning Unit 2, where you've got all of those interpretation, all those interpretation ratios. Those are so important. Those ratios you'll definitely need. So just go and brush up on them. And then there was just, which I will post for you guys as well, this document that I've got here, which is also just hints and tips that I think students just to keep in mind. I won't go through this in detail because, as I say, I'll post this document for you. And when I say common errors, that means when I mark papers year after year, these are the same errors that students make time after time after time. So, okay, theory questions, memorized. Okay, this is where I'm saying learning objectives. Okay, that's what you've got to learn for theory questions. If they ask you to work out calculations and you need to use a formula, always write the formula down on your paper so that you've got the formula in front of you to where you are inserting variables and trying to work it out. And then I can also see which formula you've decided to use for that particular question. And always write down all of your workings. I know it seems to be that it takes a lot of time, but please show your workings, because if your final answer is incorrect, I can go back through your workings and I can award marks to your workings. But if your workings aren't there, I can't give you any marks at all. And then where decimals come into it, if the question doesn't say round to 2 decimals or round to whole numbers, then don't drop decimals. Always use 2 decimals for all your calculations, unless they say round to whole numbers. That's just to be on the safe side. Units of measure, always in financial management, you don't want to just write down numbers all over the page. You want to put an R in front if it's rands. You want to put kilograms behind it if it's kilograms. So again, when you look at all of those numbers, you can also follow exactly what you've written down. This is exactly what we had to do, what Evan asked for now in the question. Be prepared for having to calculate a variable needed in a formula. So for instance, you needed to have the selling price to do that question 2 in assignment 1, but you had to work out the selling price using the information that they gave you. And the information that they gave you was about contribution margins. So if you'd forgotten that information, you wouldn't have been able to work out the selling price. So this is what I'm saying. Be prepared for having to calculate one particular variable needed in a formula or in a question. They won't give you all of the amounts straightforward in the question. You will have to work certain amounts out. So this is just an example here of ratios, PE ratio, dividend payout ratio, EPS. For instance, the PE ratio, we've got the actual ratio itself, and we've got the market price, and we've got the earnings per share. So 3 variables. So they can give us any 2 of those variables, and we've got to work out the third one. But we know that, for instance, they won't give us the EPS. They'll give us the information that we need in order to work the EPS out first, so that we can then work out the PE ratio. So that's just what you must be prepared for. Yeah, so always look at what information they've been given so that you can then work out how to calculate the missing variable that you need for your question. So here again, I remind you about these second year ratios, that it really is important, your second year ratios and formulas. The reason they teach them to you in second year, just straightforward like that as ratios and formulas, is so that you can apply them in this real management accounting that we're doing now in third year. Okay, and this is all just about real paper correctly. Always answer what was asked. So keep going back to that required and make sure that what you're putting down on the paper is exactly what they asked for and that you haven't got sidetracked. Learning objectives, again, just mentioning that, give complete answers. So if there's a theory question and you just write down one-word bullet points and they've asked you to discuss or explain or define, then I can't give you any marks for that. So just be careful. You can memorize the question in bullet points, which most students do, but when you write it down in the exam, you have to expand on that. And then also make sure that you've answered all parts of a question, because in the required, it will often say, calculate this, and then tell us which one we should choose or whether they should go ahead and do the project. So after you've completed your calculations, go back, read the question again. Did they ask for a conclusion? Did they want you to make a decision? Did they ask for an opinion? And make sure that you've answered the full question. Follow all instructions, in other words, about rounding to decimal places, showing your workings, all that type of thing. Make sure you've done exactly what they've told you to do in the instructions. And then when you do write your workings down, this again is just a reminder how to present the workings. So it's also no good if you've written a whole bunch of workings down on a page, and then on a separate page you've got your answers, and I can't tie the two together. So each working that you do should be numbered. So for instance, this is just an example of 3 workings. Each one of them is numbered, and then wherever you've used this answer, 7,000, next to it in brackets you'll put their workings 1. So when I'm marking your answer to question 1, I can see, okay, Evan has done in workings 1, I can go and see exactly how he got to that answer of 7,000. Then if you perhaps used 120 instead of 100 here, I can give you a method. I can give you a mark for 10. I can give you a mark for 7. And then I can give you a method mark for your answer 7,000, even though maybe that part of it was incorrect. But if all you've written down is 7,000 and no workings, and that answer 7,000 is incorrect, then you'll just get 0, and I can't give you any marks. So this is the correct way to do your workings, and then to cross-reference the working to your answer. Then it's easy for me to find your workings and to give you the marks. No pencils are allowed in exams. Cross out clearly if you want anything ignored, because if you haven't crossed it out, I have to mark the first answer that's written down on the paper, and if you've changed your mind and you haven't crossed your previous answer out, then that could cause problems. And also sometimes students like to give alternative answers. They're not sure, so they give 2 answers. So obviously again there I have to mark whichever the first answer is you've written down and ignore the second one. Double check your question numbering. I'm also always astounded how often students forget to write the question number down altogether, or they misnumber the question, because if you've written down question 2.3, I have to mark it as if that is your answer for question 2.3, even though it should have been question 4.3. So again, just be very careful. That's just some hints about the WACC calculation. Again, use headings and descriptions and units of measure in your answer. It's all about the presentation of your answer. So you'll learn the correct format that your answer should be from the past papers that I've given you and from your textbook. So make sure that your answers are logical and not just a mess. Financial calculators, know your formula sheet backwards. So again, I think I did put in that last announcement which formulas are not on the formula sheet, just to remind you guys. So make sure you revise with your formula sheet so that you know what's on the formula sheet and what's not there. Oh, this is where I did it here. I thought I had. So these formulas, this list of formulas here is some of the ones that you will need for this exam that are not on the formula sheet. So just remember that that you have memorized these formulas. And that's really all the things that I wanted to remind you guys of this evening. So I will post this this document that I've got here for you guys so that you can just use it just to go through. Yeah, Norman, what's up?
Can you hear me now?
I can. You're a little bit distant, but I can hear you.
Oh, now is it fine?
Yep, perfect. Yes.
Okay, Heather, I just need to ask you, right? So in the exam, can we start with any question first as long as it is numbered correctly?
Yes, sorry, I should have mentioned that. Absolutely. In fact, it's actually preferable that you decide which question you're going to do first. So obviously the question that you know the best and you can write down the fastest, do that first and get it out of the way. So that right at the end, all the time you've got left, you can spend on those questions that you need that extra time for. And as long as you've numbered them correctly, start each question on a new page. If you need 5 answer books, they must give you 5 answer books. Don't worry about saving paper when it's exam time. Use as many answer books as you want. Start each question on a new page. That gives you time to go back and make changes if space to go back and make changes if you need to. And then just label each question number clearly, and you are free to answer them in any order you want.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Heather.
Okay, perfect. Anything else? Anything else you guys have got for me? Otherwise, I'll leave you guys in peace to make your way home.
The finance exam, but would you recommend us doing the postgrad in finance and accounting through VC online? I did see that they advertised it now. Would you recommend us doing that next year?
I actually saw, yes, they told us about it as well, and I'm actually quite excited. Yes, I definitely think that that's an excellent, it looks like it's an excellent postgrad, what am I talking about? Definitely a good postgrad course to do.
Okay, and will you be teaching?
They've got finance and accounting. Postgrad in finance and accounting.
Yeah, so I did see that. Would you be teaching any of the modules if we do decide to take it?
I don't know at this stage because they haven't allocated it yet or told us, so I'm not sure. I don't know.
Because I see they split it over 2 years. So instead of doing everything in 1 year, they split it over 2 years in terms of the modules. It's like 4 modules a year.
Okay, I haven't actually even seen that detail. I just saw that they are now going to be offering it, but I don't even know what the modules are.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it would be definitely a very, very good postgrad to do.
Okay.
Yeah,
anyway, thank you so much, Heather, for all your help this year. You've been an amazing lecturer. Wishing you a very good festive period, and thank you so much for all the help that you have given us this year.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for that, Evan. It's really nice to know that I did help some of you. It's really good. And yeah, as soon as I've finished all the marking, I'll have some break. But that'll be great. And I hope you guys also get some rest once your exams are all over. Thanks, Norman. You guys have both been really good students all year, and I know you guys have really worked hard the whole year consistently. So really crossing my fingers for you guys for the paper. Okay, guys. Thank you very much. And then I'll look forward to marking your papers next week. And I'm sure you're looking forward to getting your results. Thanks, guys. I wish they were multiple choice. That would be great. Good luck, guys. Bye.